What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, we're trying to hold above the 300 supports, and we have this resistance to watch for between 305 and 306. That's very close to our 20 EMA. Right now, when you zoom into Tesla stock, you'll see that on the 5 minutes time frame, we're just range bound right now. So if you look at what happened, we got this nice push upon open the first hour of the day. And then since then, we've been just consolidating and we're pretty much just stuck for now. The whole market's basically doing the same things. There's not really much going on until we get some new updates from President Trump. Now, for the time being, our data came out. We just got some data on used car prices. Pretty soon, we have some bill auctions coming up, but that's going to be kind of minor, not really going to cause anything too crazy. And besides that, we're going to be watching to see what happens with President Trump. So, President Trump and his team have been announcing that there's going to be some big deals coming in the next, 24 to 48 hours. And they also mentioned that there could be a big deal coming between the US and India. If we get lots of big deals and this helps Tesla push more, we want to see the whole market pump. We want to see Tesla basically break the resistance very close to that 305 area. If we break 305 to 306, the gap will take us all the way up to about 312. But if we end up losing this resistance becoming support around 300, we could be dipping all the way down towards 295. So there is upside potential here to push more. I do think Tesla has potential to, pump more if we get a good deal or if there's good announcements. But despite that potential to go higher, we're just range bound right now. Our supports are basically at 300 to 299. And we have resistance around this 304 area. We're just going back and forth for now. So I do expect that to continue. But there could be a much bigger move once we see this big announcement. If President Trump starts announcing more trade deals, or if we get whatever information we're waiting for with the European Union, that could also help the market try to bounce and Tesla stock. So we'll see, guys, what ends up happening. When it comes to SPY, however, we're also range bound. So if you go to for example, our 5 minutes time frame, this is all we're essentially doing. So as we hit 619, we're kind of rebounding, and as we hit 621 to 622, we're rejecting. We're going back and forth. We've been stuck doing this for pretty much the entire day. I mentioned to everyone we need to see SPY lose 619 to be more bearish. We have to break 622 to be bullish. Otherwise, we're just range bound in the middle. Same thing with the QQQ. We have our main support at 551. If that fails us, we could dip a lot more. But if we end up breaking past 554, we're bullish. As of right now, we're just range bound. Same thing with the QQQ. When you zoom in on the 5 minutes time frame, as you guys could tell, it's just range bound between 551 and 554. Been going back and forth pretty much the entire day. On the IWM, we're also going back and forth between supply and demand. If we end up losing 220, we're going to be dumping a lot more. If we end up breaking past 222, we're going to be turning more bullish. We're just range bound, so keep that in mind. For ES, we're also going back and forth right here. We need to break past 6280 to be more bullish. And if we end up losing basically 6250, we're going to be turning back down. We're just in the middle for now, so keep that in mind. Same thing with NQ. I would like to see us break 23,000 to be a lot more bullish. And to be bearish, you need to see us lose 22,850. I see us just chopping around for now. There's not really a lot that's going on. Bitcoin, however, is a little bit weaker, making lower highs. So it's going to be at risk of returning back down towards the lower 108,000 area. So there's going to be a risk of some downside on Bitcoin. Looking at Nvda, it's just range bound. We like to bounce off 158 and reject off 160. We're still going back and forth. There's not really much going on until we break one of those levels. Apple pumped and dumped. We were expecting it to get very close to about 212. We came a little bit short of that, only to turn back down. But it could still try to bounce here. I do think it consolidates a bit. It's also kind of range bound between 208 and 212. For now, there's not really a whole lot that's going on. For AMD, for those who are interested, it's also range bound. We need to lose 137.5 to turn down. We have to break past 139 to be bullish. I just see us being range bound as well. Coinbase is looking kind of flat here. We need to see us basically break past 360 to be more bullish. And if we lose 350, we're bearish. Otherwise, we're range bound. I see us consolidating, but we could try to get back up to about 355. Amazon's going to try to push back up to about 222. Potentially, if we break past 220.8. But if we end up losing 219, we could turn back down to 217. As of right now, we look more range bound. Meta is also range bound. We're going to see if we can try to push back up to 719, or if we lose 714 to turn back down, we might be pushing a bit higher. Google's a bit more bearish, making lower highs here. I do see a risk of us returning a little bit lower, and that could actually take us down towards the support over here. So this could actually come all the way back down towards 172.5 if this continues to dip. So be careful with Meta. It's kind of weak. Same thing with Microsoft. It has the risk of dipping to 491 if we can't hold above 495. It is shuffling here, so there's not really a lot going on. The VIX could dip a bit more to fill this gap and consolidate. There's not really much going on with the markets, though. We're just kind of range bound. And Tesla, although it is trying to push, I need to see it break and hold the high of the day to continue. It is looking a little bit more bullish, though it does have the potential to fill this gap. But we need to see some confirmation if it could break and hold above the 305 to 306 resistance. And for now, it's doing a good job. So, it does look more bullish, but for the much shorter term, right, if you zoom into Tesla, it's simultaneously very choppy. Look at the last couple of hours, it's been going back and forth like this. So it may push higher over time, but for now, Tesla's in a chop zone alongside the markets. And we have to give this some time to develop. With that being said, I do expect a big move later on, but for now, we are more choppy. We could push higher, but we're waiting to see if any pieces of news come out or any announcements involving President Trump. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you for listening and peace out.